All right, hi, hello everybody. I'm CriticalCyd. I'm going to be playing Sonic Lost World for you today, specifically the PC version, which is a port of the original Wii U version. We'll get into the differences and all that kind of stuff later. I also brought two friends along.
Hi guys, I'm Brandino. I'm most known for running the 3DS version of this game. It's kind of like my baby. I've been the sole runner of that version for several years now, and I'm just so happy to be here today with everybody.
And I'm Gedrith. I'm an old Sonic relic, but I'm the reason that Sid even started running this game.
Yeah, like I used to do like just casual races with Gedrith of this game, and that kind of like went back and forth. And then I ruined it all by actually learning the speed run.
I'm never forgiving you.
You've never forgiven me. And yeah, if the run today doesn't look like, hey, that doesn't look like what I played on the 3DS. Brandino's your guy, absolutely.
Yeah, we'll be talking a lot today. There's several versions of this game, some differences to keep in mind, and I think we should just get going.
I think we should get going, and we'll get into the category stuff and all that kind of stuff later. So let's just get going with 3, 2, 1, go. Oh gosh darn, I've lost my world again.
Oh man, dude, you got to stop doing that.
I keep losing my world. All right, so let me introduce you to the main movement mechanic here real quick. It is the infinite spin dash. You hold left trigger to spin dash, then you tap the jump button up to 3 times in order to actually start the spin dash. Then you let it go to let it send it flying, and then once you re-grab the spin dash, it will go infinitely until you either cancel it manually or run into something that's...
Yeah, this game has a very unique movement system. This is kind of the black sheep of the modern Sonic franchise. Just about every game since Sonic Unleashed has used a boost system of some kind, whereas this game has a very complex parkour movement system where Sonic can run up and on walls, and you have the infinite spin dash, as Sid said, to really gain a ton of speed. This game is really kind of its own beast. There isn't anything like it in the entire Sonic franchise. This was kind of a strange release. This was the first game that was created after Generations, believe it or not. In 2013, it was a Wii U exclusive as part of a 3-game deal that Sega had with Nintendo.
All right, and so something else that I've been doing during this stage is I've been gathering some animals. This game has like a progression mechanic where you have to save a number of animals. This is a save the animals kind of run, honestly. And I'll be gathering a whole bunch of those by opening these capsules and destroying enemies. So the small capsules give 10 animals, the large ones at the end of stages give 30 animals, and every enemy gives 1 animal. And the first benchmark that I have to worry about really for that is 300 animals by the end of the second world, because it unlocks every 4th stage in an area. So here we're going into our first 2D area. This is going to also be the introduction to some of the bosses. Every second and 4th stage have a boss fight, and they could only afford about 1 character trait each for each of the bosses. They were on a bit of a budget, and I'd say for this guy right here, he's crazy. That's his thing.
He's like a punk, I guess.
Yeah, and
so
the bosses are also incredibly easy, because really all I have to do is I have to charge my multi-lock on homing attack fully, do that twice, and then there you go. That's going to be the boss done. And the multi-lock on homing attack is also a unique feature to Sonic Lost World. I take a little bit of a damage boost there as well, so that I can safely use my invulnerability frames to follow him along and get the lock on easier. And then that's the boss fight already done, and that's kind of going to be the gist for all of the bosses here.
This isn't Sonic Frontiers. These aren't crazy boss fights by any stretch of the imagination.
Nope.
So every level in this game is kind of like one atomic gimmick, sometimes a mixture. And some levels will reuse gimmicks, but every level kind of is its own little unique thing. This one kind of goes for an underground aesthetic with these huge tubes that you're able to move around in. And there's a lot of different exits depending on which part of the tube you're in at any given time. You'll notice that Sid is collecting a laser wisp. That's our good friend from Sonic Colors.
We're not going to worry about him until like way later. So
yeah, so just worth noting that this game does have them.
It does have wisps, but they're not going to come in that much.
Yeah,
what this game also has is like it's a mix of 3D and 2D, and thus far we've really had like they're separated. The first stage was fully 3D, this one, the second stage was fully 2D, this was fully 3D again. But there's also mixed stages. The next one is going to be a mix. And usually when there is a mix in Sonic games, it tends to be tends to cause like glitches where we could take the 3D physics into the 2D section, which A, are a lot faster, and B, it means we can move in 3D even though the stage is designed in 2D, allowing us to like jump around obstacles and all that kind of stuff. And this game is pretty good at like preventing all of that. It like sections off the stages quite well. By just having screen transitions. But those screen transitions really only teleport you across the different sections of the stage. Everything is still stored on the same map, which means that if you can theoretically get to one of the later parts of the stages early, and by theoretically, I mean that's what I'm about to do, then yeah, then you can do that. So I'm going to try at the start of this stage to squeeze through a very, very small gap in between the kill planes to go right to the end of the stage. That's a little bit too early. It is a very, very small gap.
It is a 4-frame jump, and if you miss out on those 4 frames, you either... Okay, here we go, we got it.
Nice second try.
There's a 2D level from behind right here.
All right.
And spin dash off that. That's such a cool trick. Now, oh no, that's okay. So
That's all right, I'll do it again.
Cyd needs to exit out there instead of letting Sonic die because you actually fall for like 40, 50 seconds straight.
Oh yeah.
That level is a massive empty air kill plane. So the way that you can, the way that this works is that he's jumping over. There's a kill plane right there, and so if he's a little bit too early on the jump, he'll hit the kill plane, and if he's too late, he smacks into some spikes. So you got to really be careful. It's difficult, and doing this on Wii U is even worse because the Wii U version has input delay to account for.
Why does it not? So, I'm not actually playing with my own controller here, so yes, I am going to blame the controller. I'm gonna be one of those guys. I'm still getting used to this thing, because my own controller stopped working right during setup for this run. So, yeah, no, things are not really feeling all that normal.
We had a litany of strange problems to start the run, but that's just okay, because it was all to prepare for this. This is it right here.
All right, this is the one. This is the one, guys.
There we go.
There we go. Very nice.
We need to be careful. It's not over. So
I am still in 3D right here for the record, which is why I'm like moving this fast.
Yeah, so when you do a transition from 2D to 3D, it actually has a speed limit difference to it. So with Cyd currently having 3D movement, he actually has the extreme extra speed, which they don't account for why he outraced the boss during the normal pre-slow pace.
All right.
it needs to be said that he is on a very thin walkway, and he is capable of moving both forward and backward. So Cyd needs to be careful not to fall.
Thankfully, the homing attack puts you right back where you...
Look how thin that walkway is.
All right. A little bit of a rough start. That's okay.
We're
We're going to pull it back.
Windy Hill 4 is a massive roadblock at the beginning of all runs. And now get ready for the decathlon, folks. This is one of the hardest levels in Sonic history.
It's one of the hardest zones, because this is like, the movement in this one is incredibly tight, and then there's 3 incredibly big skips coming up right here as well. The Desert Ruins is like the big wall right here. So let's hope that we have things figured out and I can actually get it now.
So I want to give a shout out while we're here to speedrunner Gordon Ramsay.
That Gordon Ramsay. No, the chef.
Not the chef, the speedrunner.
The chef.
Very different. Gordon Ramsay is one of the godfathers of the modern revival of this game, and this is his favorite level, so I think I'd be remiss if I didn't mention him here. We love you, Gordon. Thank you so much for all the work that you've done for this game, and continue to do for lots of Sonic games. You're an awesome guy. And I enjoy hearing your rants about the deep dives into the Sonic code that you do.
Thank you, Gordon.
So a lot of these vertical scenes, Cyd will be doing wall jumping, but if he jumps back and back onto the wall at the right timing, he can actually reset his momentum and just be able to repeatedly do that.
So this level kind of shifts 3D and 2D, but it's in loading zone, so we can't really do any fancy 3D and 2D tricks. Instead, it's all movement optimization from here. So we got to be careful. There's obstacles every which way, and there's quicksand he's got to sink into, which he's avoiding just by getting the spin dash, drop dash right when he hits it. And it's worth mentioning, this is the first game that has any sort of drop dash.
All right. got past those fire guys. Those tend to be a little bit of a roadblock as well. And then here I'm going to, once again, refresh the wall run right here onto the same wall. You can kind of just do that infinitely. It's an infinite wall run. There we go. Threading the needle right there. Easy peasy.
That is not an easy jump that Cyd just did and made it look like it was child's play.
So whenever Sonic grabs walls in this game, if you're like a little bit too low or too high on the wall, Sonic will grab the wall for a second, and then he'll just let go and drop like a rock. So Cyd had to be very careful to climb up that platform because there's only a very small window that Sonic will actually grab it. And we're perfect in time for this cactus cycle. That's just because Cyd's so good at the game.
No, it's actually because I missed a trick at the start.
No, it's because you're so good.
No. I'm not gonna lie to the people, man. I missed a trick at the start of the stage, so that's actually the second cycle. Those cactus balls, they just kind of run on a global cycle. Also, funny ball. Funny ball lets me ignore the sand, but it's not quite as fast as a spin dash. But if you have to cross a lot of sand, then you can do that funny ball ring right there.
And that's Desert Ruins Zone 1. That is one of the best levels in the game for like just pure movement optimization. It is a blast to play. And now we're moving on to Desert Ruins. So get used to skips because there's going to be a lot of them from here.
So this is a big one that Cyd's about to go into. So we were talking about already back and forth about getting over death planes. Well, in this one, we're about to skip the whole level by jumping over a death plane. So Cyd's going to come down, and normally you get pulled into this flower to get put into another mock speed zone, but you can actually just lane a little bit to the side, and then he's going to try to spin dash off. Oh.
I am doing this trick for the record. You can get it like third try and then still break even. It saves that much time.
It's a huge time save.
Absolutely.
Worth mentioning that this level is called Desert Ruins, and there is no desert and no ruins. It's just a bunch of trees and honeycomb.
It's just bees.
It's just bees. It's bees all the way down.
I think almost everybody in the community calls their split Honeycomb Highway, too, after the music for this zone.
Worth mentioning, this game has an incredible soundtrack.
So Cyd got right over the death plane, but it's not over yet. There's another one he has to do, which he easily gets over. And so now it's just a simple free fall to the end.
Thank you, Sega. Thank you, Sonic Team, for making your stage vertical. That means I can just kind of fall back all the way down to the end of the stage.
So he does want to get sucked back in right before the boss fight. So theoretically, you can fall all the way to the boss, but there's so many kill planes, you have to thread the needle. So it's just easier that right at the end, you get pulled in right before the boss, and then you can just fly down to him.
It is not realistic to fall all the way down to the boss fight.
Worth mentioning that there is no equivalent of this kind of stage in the 3DS version, so this song appears in a completely different level. The 3DS version is kind of a facsimile of this game. There's some things that are similar, but not really.
Yeah. Anyway, now we have time for some donations, because this boss fight is just a very long auto-scroller. So, Klinkit, take it away.
Absolutely. We have so many amazing donations coming in. $5 from Sly Sonic. I love Sonic Lost World. It's got to be
Sly Sonic.
My favorite 3DS game. Wait, what do you mean this isn't the 3DS version? Oh well. Lost World is still Lost World. Shoutouts to the incredibly based and cool Lost World gang, and best of luck, Cyd. Show him how it's done, King. $10 from Champo. Absolutely incredible to be watching this run in person. It's been amazing to spend the week with the Sonic speedrun community so far, and I'm ready for the rest of the week as well. Let's kick cancer's butt and go fast. Best of luck to you, Cyd, and the commentary couch as well. Hello from Back Couch.
We have a sizable contingent of friends behind us, and we're very lucky to have them there.
A tradition among Sonic runners.
All right, so that was the boss. It was a boss, and now it's over.
His whole thing is gluttony, by the way. That's his character trait. He gets to eat.
I haven't heard it described like that before, but that is accurate.
That's true. Yeah, it is.
All right.
Whew, time for the next skip, I think.
So we're in Desert Ruins, right? I bet you're thinking, where are we? Well, they added an extra S. This is Dessert Ruins.
We're at Dessert Ruins.
All right. We got a really cool skip at the beginning of this. It's kind of weird, so I'm just going to let Cyd do it first, and then we'll talk about it.
Oh, yeah, no worries. So because of the way this level curves and swerves and all that kind of stuff, the collision can get kind of wonky during some of these turns, allowing me to clip through. And then I'm just going to go and fall around here.
Waiting for 2 camera changes.
Yeah, there we go. And there is the very end of the stage.
Very nice. So, if y'all haven't seen the similarities yet, this game takes a heavy inspiration from Super Mario Galaxy. So there is gravity for pretty much every little floating area. And we abuse that a lot by just getting within enough range that it pulls us down to the zones that we need to go to.
Yep. And,
Hey, did you guys like skips? We got more.
Oh yeah, we absolutely got more skips, which is good because this is an auto-scroller. But for the first little section, I do have to actually do the auto-scroller. And there is a lot of stuff I also want to explain about the auto-scroller and the skip before we get there, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. So yeah, I'm being chased by a tornado, but that tornado will move faster or slower depending on the section of the stage that I am in. So there's triggers on the ground that I will hit with Sonic, and that will change the speed of the tornado very slightly. So I'm trying to stay in the faster moving locations as much as possible, and then going through the slower parts as fast as I can in order to make sure that it stays moving fast as long as I can. So what if theoretically you would be able to just kind of keep Sonic in one of the faster moving locations? Well, we can do that. We can, in fact, do that because the tornado does not, in fact, have a hitbox at the top or at the bottom. So we could theoretically put Sonic to the left of him. The only problem is that the game will then push Sonic back to the very side of the screen. And the only way to prevent that is to put a wall to the side of Sonic. We can also do that, and thanks to the infinite wall run, we can stay on that wall infinitely. The only problem is that I will be off screen, or Sonic will be off screen rather, so I cannot see Sonic, which means that I will have to do all of that infinite wall running, you know, while he is off screen. If I fall too low, then I will hit a kill plane. If I go too high, then I will grab onto the ledge too early and potentially soft lock the game. So hopefully that doesn't happen. We're coming up on it right here. I'm going to ask for some quiet time to make sure that I can hear the audio cues.
Nice. Not over, not over, not over.
It's not over yet. We're gonna do it again. And there it is.
Nice.
Good job.
Nice. I was nervous, but I knew he could do it.
Ooh, that is sort of the hardest tricks in the run and one of the most punishing, because if you soft lock the game, then you will have to do the entire stage over again. So I'm very happy to have that out of the way without failing it. Also, yeah, Drill is here. I kind of glossed over that earlier because I was busy explaining the trick and all that kind of stuff. But Drill is here. The wisps are here. And you drill through the ground and you can press the button to make them drill faster. So one other thing I was doing to help keep myself on the wall is I was doing a slow fall. Whenever you're wall running and you press the X button, Sonic will do this slow slide down the wall right here, which keeps me on the wall like a lot longer and make sure I have to like refresh my wall run a lot less times, which is, you know, nice. I don't have time to drink. It's okay. We're doing it without water.
And that's Desert Ruins. That's one of the hardest sections of the run right there. Like 4 levels, 3 skips, and 1 incredibly difficult movement section. So Cyd's flying right now.
Yeah, and that stage is what I needed 300 animals for. I got some more animals during the auto-scroller. But animals is going to be the name of the game right now. That we're in the next section of the run, and we're in Tropical Coast. So yeah, you guys want to talk about some animals?
Yeah, I got you covered. Right. So the last time this game was in was, I believe, back in 2017? 16.
2016.
Oh, 2016.
So our favorite boy in the Sonic community, DSS, was running it. He was running the Wii U version. So the big difference between the PC and the Wii U version is the animal requirement for progressing. So every time you hit 4th stage, you have an actual total number of animals you're supposed to have to unlock that stage. Back on Wii U, it was big. It required a lot of grinding.
It was 4,000 animals in order to beat the game.
Which, thankfully now, it's only 1,900.
It's over 1,900 now, yeah.
Back on the Wii U, we used a Nintendo exclusive zone, the Legend of Zelda zone, to do a lot of grinding very quickly. Here, we don't have that, obviously, because why would Nintendo let Sega port a Nintendo-themed stage to PC? So we're going to jump around these capsules and some others down here, and then just kill Sonic and rinse repeat until we get a around, what, 900 if I remember correctly?
I believe 996 is the number you're looking for.
That is exactly the number I'm looking for.
And then we'll go on from there, and so we'll get a few more capsules and other various ways of getting animals throughout, which will give us exactly what we need for the rest of the run.
Oh, yeah.
And you won't see it in this level because we don't use the wisp here, but this level does have a drill wisp, and this does the unholy thing of using the drill wisp in 3D.
Thank God we never have to use it.
Yeah, so normally the drill wisp was designed for 2D sections. That's what you just saw in the previous fight. The drill wisp kind of goes in a 2D section where you can see it in a wall. In this version and in the 3DS version, they have a 3D drill, and it controls. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
It controls. And in this version, you don't have to use it, thankfully, but in the 3DS version, you do. So that's another big difference between the two versions. That wisps,
another big W for the PC version, honestly.
Yeah.
Not having to do that.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm just gonna be like getting these same capsules over and over because the animals do save throughout depths. That crab has hands, so or claws, I suppose, and he's going to just absolutely body me every time. And I'm going to be doing that a couple more times, so I do think it is a good idea to throw it over to klinkit for a few more donations while I get the last few rounds of capsules.
Sure thing. We had $100 from Allegro. Hey all. Hate that I'm not at AGDQ to see my favorite cat dad couch in person, but I wanted to wish all of the luck to Cyd with Lost World and to Alpha with Shadow Generations later on.
Love you, Allegro.
Miss you, buddy.
$25 from Anonymous. Let's go, CriticalCyd, for an awesome Sonic Lost World run. Hype! Gotta do it for Punchy. Also, is that the Brandino59 on comms getting that?
That is.
And $15 from Wandering Mind. Good luck with the run. $25 from Ash.
That's my cat's name.
That's also one of my mod's names, so I'm pretty sure it's not your cat, buddy.
Oh, that's the one
I don't know. I think it's the cat.
Yeah, it had some subtext, so I had to read that first.
Oh, that's good.
Meow, meow, mew, meow. Also, hi, Cyd.
It is
Wow,
the cat.
also very
It is the
relevant.
cat.
It is my cat.
Oh my God, it was the cat. I'm a fool.
I was gonna joke, like, if the cat wrote it, it would just be like if a cat walks across a keyboard and it's just a bunch of nonsense. That's how you'd know. I think we only need a few more animals here.
Yeah, this is going to be the last round. And after that, we're kind of going to continue. And there's going to be like another new gimmick, another new mechanic introduced at the end of this, which is going to be the clouds. And the clouds have very, floaty, slow physics that the game wants us to interact with. Personally, I do not feel like interacting with that. So what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and chain a bunch of spin dashes, which will allow me to keep my normal movement rather than the cloud movement. There's a very small window for it, so hopefully I'll get it. And then I need to do that for every single cloud, or every single cloud I need to do a new spin dash.
This is incredibly difficult tech here. I just want to be clear. To be able to land the spin dash on the cloud, Cyd has to cancel the spin dash as soon as he lands, and then he needs to be able to run onto the next cloud with like the perfect jump height. It's not easy.
Yep, kind of missed it there, and you only
This
get
is
one
why
shot
we need
at
to do it.
Because this is what you're missing. This is the clouds physics. They're nice, they're slow, they're floaty. Fortunately, this section, after I just spend a whole bunch of my lives grinding for animals, it also is very good at refreshing the amount of lives you have, because it puts a bunch of one-ups here, puts a bunch of rings here, so that'll keep it nice and safe for the rest of the run.
Would you say that these clouds cause you a lot of strife?
One. Everybody gets one. Okay? Everybody gets one.
Oh, he regrets taking me here. I just know it.
No, man, I love having you here, buddy. It's all good. Alrighty. We mentioned wisps in this game, and wisps are, they're not in every stage, and a lot of them are only in a few stages. Rocket here is only going to be in Tropical Coast. But in Tropical Coast, Rocket is going to be one of the wisps that is actually incredibly useful. Also, apple juice. There you go. We travel through apple juice.
We got to keep the doctors away.
One apple juice stream a day keeps the doctors away, for sure.
That's what I heard.
All right, so here we have the rocket. I'm going to use the rockets to just kind of launch myself to a later part on the stage. Got to go a little bit further out than you think, and then after that it's going to put me in a diving state, which allows me to very slowly go
I was
right
nervous.
out. I wasn't.
The depth perception there is really difficult. It's kind of hard to tell if you made it when you're really close to the ground.
Yeah, but no worries. I was pretty confident in that
So
shot.
the big thing with all of these rocket stages is while you can't see it and they're trying to guide you along a certain path, everything's there. It might just not be rendered in at the time. So you can actually skip a bunch of stuff by just knowing where to aim the rocket at.
All right, and then we go to our boss fight, and
Boss fight with several quotations around it.
Yeah, like this guy's deal is that he's the old sensei of the group. He's supposed to be like the old master, you know. He's also the biggest pushover of them all, because like here he is. I set myself up for that.
Yeah,
I
We
set
talked about
myself
big
up
game,
for that.
that's our fault.
That's my bad. That's my bad. I was not aware of his game.
So worth mentioning, as a 3DS runner, I get infuriated by this, how simple these bosses are on the PC Wii U version, because this guy in particular is rough in the 3DS version. He's very difficult to deal with, and you can lose a lot of time on him.
I would die to the easiest boss. That is something that absolutely I would do at a GDQ. Anyway, here he is. Two fully charged homing attacks. And
He's just like running away.
yeah.
He's not even trying to attack Sonic. All right, next level, banger.
Oh yeah, it's time to chill out. It's time to have some very nice, cozy music. At least you guys get to chill out. The real stages are actually some of the hardest stages in the run for me. So I'm gonna be sweating. You guys are gonna be chilling. It's going to be vibes. So the way these real stages work is you move faster in the air. So I'm going to be jumping basically as much as I can. There's only going to be a few exceptions for this. There's a couple of boosters that send me at a speed that is better than that airspeed, and there's also green rails. The green rails make you move faster, and the red rails make you move slower. So for the most part, it's like I'm just kind of gonna do these jumps right here. This is also one of the only stages that has 2D and 3D sections mixed in, but in like the same one. You can do a 3D and 2D there. It doesn't save a lot of time. Since I just failed it once and I do need to worry about estimate, I'm not going to try it again because there's like not a checkpoint right before it. That one only saves like 10 seconds. But yeah, those are some of the hardest things in the run, the 3D and 2Ds in the real stages. And they are the only other 3D and 2D glitches because they are the only stages where, you know, there's no screen transition between the conversion from 3D to 2D.
So 3D and 2D glitches have been around since about Sonic Unleashed, when the game started doing this like 2D and 3D mixture. And the thing about 2D and 3D is that it kind of depends on what game you're playing it on, how much easier it is to support it. But basically, when you have 3D physics in a 2D space, you need to hold like a perfect right angle so that Sonic is always moving exactly right. And what makes that difficult in a stage like this is that the camera angle is in such a way that you can't just hold straight right. And in a game like Sonic Colors, which is played on the Wii, or it used to be at least, before Sonic Colors Ultimate, what made that game a little bit easier is that you have a notched controller, the GameCube controller, so that you can hold straight right or left very easily. In this game, in Sonic Unleashed, in Sonic Colors Ultimate, like any game that has more free-flowing controller, it's a lot harder to do a 3D and 2D when you need to hold straight right or left and you have no notches. So it's really, really difficult. And it's not made any easier when the level camera is fighting you at every opportunity.
Yeah. So there was a big jump that I tried to do here. Like I tried to carry some of that that boost momentum from the boost pad. But since I died, unfortunately, the cycle of the fan was like in a pretty bad position, so I had to like jump around it, which then, you know, removed most of my speed. I still got a decently large jump out of it. For some reason, during the transition to that 2D section, the game just lets you have a very big jump. But yeah.
I also want to point out, many of the obstacles in this stage are insta-kill.
Oh, yeah.
Those fan blades that he is opening are, it's like Sonic, if Sonic hits them, he splats into them, splat %, he'll die. And if he hits several of the explosive carts, Sonic will die. Several of the enemies will knock you off the rail, and you will die. There's many ways to die, very few ways to live.
The only way to live is dangerously in this game, honestly. Fortunately, I like to live dangerously. It's okay. All right, well, there you go. That's the first real stage done.
I hope you guys like the Rocket Wisp.
Oh yeah, the Rocket Wisp is going to be huge here, because the start of the next stage actually has a pretty infamously bad section. I like to call it the Bad Hit Detection Pineapple Planet, and as a result, the skip I'm about to do is the Bad Hit Detection Pineapple Planet skip. That's what we're calling it now, as of today. But yeah, if I do my rockets here correctly, then we will never have to see that planet. Because the entire thing there is, you have to roll a gigantic pineapple around. I don't know if you've ever tried to roll a pineapple. It doesn't roll particularly well. Doesn't in this game either. And you have to destroy a bunch of enemies with it in order to actually be able to progress past it. But by chaining my rockets just nicely like this, there's no problem. No pineapples. There is no pineapples on this.
I like pineapples. Can you go back?
No. We're not going back.
So another thing I want to point out is that in the Wii U version of this game, there was a lot of gyro control. The rockets were actually controlled by using the Wii U gamepad to like look around your immediate environment and fire them. When this game was released on PC, they patched the Wii U version and the PC version so that gyro controls were no longer a problem. But you know what version didn't get the gyro controls patched out? 3DS. So we unfortunately have a lot of gyro in that version that is unskippable. Oh, and another piece of tech that just happened right there I want to mention. Sonic can double jump in this game. That's awesome, right? Well, unfortunately, you cannot double jump and maintain your spin dash. So Cyd can only single jump and maintain his spin dash, but in a few choice places, we're going to have to double jump.
Yep, yeah, it's really not a big deal. I can also pretty easily charge my spin dash back up by just kind of rolling my thumb over the two jump buttons. Fortunately, this game does give you two jump buttons. One of them also does homing attack, the other one doesn't do homing attack, so that I don't have to worry about accidentally homing attacking something when I'm trying to do a double jump. But it also allows me to just kind of like roll my thumb over the buttons to very quickly charge a spin dash. It's quite nice, honestly.
Also,
it's good design.
This is one of the most Mario Galaxy-esque level designs you're going to see, with all these crazy inversions and like the level kind of turns 90 degrees in on itself. It's really cool. Whoa!
Yeah. So
I'm fine.
Until the fish actually bites those, they're perfectly safe to go under.
Yeah.
I just found that out.
You could just do that. I did no, wait, I totally did that intentionally. Anyway, this guy can actually be a little bit of a problem in this particular fight with him, because you need to get the targeting directly on him in the center. If you don't get that right away, then Sonic will instead start targeting the things around him, and things are going to get very slow. This particular phase was the biggest problem in that, but I got him, and he always flees to the same planet, so I could just kind of go, oh my god, it's pineapples. There you go. And there you go.
And that's Tropical Zone, or Tropical Coast Zone.
That is a Tropical Coast Zone. Very cool.
All right, we had a great time at the beach, but we need to go to Pittsburgh next, so we're heading to Frozen Factory.
This do be, oh yeah.
Yes, let's go Pittsburgh.
This do be looking like Pittsburgh for the next zone coming up.
I just want to shout out, I'm a Pittsburgh native. This is the second AGDQ in Pittsburgh I've been able to attend, and it's very surreal to have it in my backyard, and I just want to say it's awesome. So shout out to Pittsburgh.
All right, so this level's gimmick is that it just kind of loops around on itself, and then you just kind of keep going to a higher level. You just can't just kind of buffer a spin dash on that little slope right there to skip doing all of that and go straight to the top path. We also have more clouds, and this time I don't have like a small window to start doing a spin dash. So instead what I have to do is take damage in order to get my normal state back, and then I can do a spin dash. Kind of wanted to do a big jump right there, but that's all right. This is a little bit safer anyway. Grab another ring right here so that I can take more damage from this guy. And then we're just going to not do the funny thing because I didn't get a homing attack on that guy. All right, sure thing. We are doing all of the slow clouds today. We are just having a cozy old time with these clouds.
Yeah, unfortunately that can happen. Like I said, the window to cancel the spin dash is pretty small, and you gotta run on these clouds, which is so much more difficult than it looks.
That's all right. At least I got some of the homing attacks off to speed some of the part right up. Here we have another, like, many branching paths. And oops, is that the spring that leads you straight to the end? Yeah, I think it is. So
it was so fun during our first casual race when we went through that I think all of us were stuck on that zone for 30 minutes because we kept looping.
I wasn't. I already knew about this skip. I had that over.
Cheater.
Yeah. All right. Very cool. So, in the next stage, we meet our villain for this zone. Her character trait, the best I can describe it, is that she's ridden by that guy at the office who goes, "Women, am I right?" and thinks it's the funniest thing in the world. That's about all we really have to say about that. more importantly, we're a funny snowball. How do you guys feel about funny snowball?
I love Funny Snowball.
So
this is my favorite
snowball-
level.
This snowball controls like an out-of-control 18-wheeler. Cyd can basically move forward at a very high speed and not really change his direction very often. So we really need to be careful in some of these sections. We're on some very thin walkways.
So, besides that, we get to have the fun of playing pool. Every time we hit checkpoint on this one, we'll actually freeze for a second and collect all the rings that we occur around our snowball. We also have to be careful about these Yetis that are around the map. If they charge into us, they can knock us around, as well as if we hit them, we can get ping-ponged around.
Yeah.
We'll be using that a little bit later in the stage, though, for some fun little knock around.
I cannot stress enough how poorly this thing controls. I'm making it look easy.
It's a very, I think it's a cool gimmick, but it quickly outstays its welcome.
Yeah.
Take a
Which
ball
is-
mechanic, but then you're pretty much on ice the whole time. Ooh, nice.
Nice, got the early cycle. So that is the big thing you have to worry about with the stage. It's the cycles of these platforms. And then here we have like the only other trick here. I can just kind of like try to skirt the edge of this ramp, which allows me to maintain the speed, jump past all of that, and then
I was
there you
so
go.
nervous.
And the rest of this is just going to be snowballing around, bouncing off this Yetis. I think it's a good time for a couple of more donations. So Klinkit, take it away.
Absolutely, and we are just about $300 from hitting $580,000 and hitting 25% of the way to the blindfolded New Super Mario Bros. Wii run. So get those donations in. We had $10 from Punchy, Cyd's cat. Oops, I stumbled into Cyd's wallet and found 10 bucks. Here, have them back, Dad.
What's with all these cats donating?
$10 from Zero J. Must move at extremely high velocities. $10 from Deku. Good luck, Cyd. Thank you for being awesome and one of the people that got me into speedrunning. Wish I could have made it to this GDQ. I would have loved to finally meet the legend itself.
Shoutouts to Deku, man. That is one of the GOAT Sonic runners for sure.
Absolutely. He's the guy who took all my world records.
One of the best Sonic Heroes runners in existence. Just an all-around cool guy. Got to meet him last AGDQ when he did the Dark Story, was it all A ranks? It was such a great
Yeah, Deku's great. Thank you for being around, Deku. All right, so we're in a boss fight now. Yes, we have to do the boss fight as a snowball. There's no actual way to die here. The only way to die is to time out. And yeah, essentially hit the snowman, don't hit the snowman with bumps on them. The patterns are consistent every single time for the first time, but your position and camera is very much not, so that can definitely make it a little bit harder. But it's not too bad. And then for this last hit, you become a bit of a track star, so we have to hunter down, and there you go. And that's Xena.
That's the snowball.
That's Snowball. Do you like gimmicks? Do you like gimmicks?
Do people love pinball?
Do people love pinball? Because boy, do we have pinball. It's a Sonic game. It's pinball. This is also the casino zone. So,
I just want to say,
yeah.
better than Chaos Island.
It's debatable. They're about equally as bad.
Sir, that is cap.
No. Anyway, the rest of the stage is just kind of like you go, but there is a forced pinball section right here. I have to get enough points and I have to get into the exit. This can either go very well or very horribly. That was honestly pretty good. I kind of managed to clip into the top bumper right there.
Yeah, so ideally, you want to get into that right above the gate. There's a little trap that can give you pretty much all the points you need. Also, just immediately drops you into the exit.
There you
which
go.
is
That's
exactly what we want.
That is average pinball. That is very average pinball. Not great, not bad. We take that. Fortunately, that's all the pinball we have to do.
Wouldn't be a Sonic game without some pinball.
Absolutely. Why do I keep running games with pinball? I swear. I don't even like pinball.
I guess at least it's not Casino Park and Bingo Highway.
I would love to be playing Casino Park instead. Genuinely.
That's the first time that sentence has been uttered by a human.
No, Sonic Heroes is my baby. I would love to be Casino Park instead of this place right now. But it's all right. We're leaving. We're out. We're good. We're sorted.
So the next stage will be the first time we see the actual gimmick that we pretty much skipped in the first one of ice skating. So a few of the forced 2D sections in this next one were forced to ice skate, but Cyd can do some fun stuff to help with momentum throughout it.
Oh yeah, I love this stage. As a native Dutchman, I love ice skating. Apparently, it's just in our DNA or something. But I genuinely really enjoy this stage. After like a bunch of like very gimmick-heavy things, it's honestly quite nice, quite chill.
So you cannot spin dash on the ice. And whenever Sonic's on the ice and jumps, he does these little pirouettes that carry a lot of momentum in them. So you gotta kind of know how that jump works, because it goes way further than your average jump. And whenever he hits a speed pad, you'll notice he goes into a cool little skiing animation.
All right. And yeah, this stage is honestly pretty simple. It's basically just a lot of ice skating. There's basically ice everywhere. There's very little spin dashing actually going on, with the exception of some of the indoor sections. This is kind of gonna be it for a while. The indoor sections, though, I also have like a bunch of crushers that I have to worry about. Those are on local cycles, so they start, you know, doing their thing once I get close to them. So they're basically always in the same position. And this is the first section right here. We also have these ice things, but you can just kind of bounce through them. Then we cancel the bounce with a buffered spin dash, and that makes this section go pretty fast. And there you go, here's the crushers. All right. And then basically we just have like a whole bunch more ice skating going on. So more donations sounds like a great idea right now, honestly.
All right, we have $20 from Snoop J. I'm a simple man. I hear ska music, I donate. Good luck with the rest of the rest of the Scanic run, CriticalCyd.
I've said that before, yeah. It's a very ska-inspired soundtrack in some levels. It's really cool. As a ska fan myself.
I said Scanic, and it should have been Sconic. I get it now. I missed that.
That's all right.
It didn't even register to me.
Oh, I got it.
We had $20 from Argic. Hi,
Yo.
Sid. I see your run is going well. At least you don't have to find me using gyro controls. How are you doing over there, Brandino?
I'm great. I love Sonic Lost World 3DS personally. Also,
This is
Metro
not
Zone.
Oh, we're just kind of gonna like try to ignore these gimmicks right here by just doing infinite wall running instead. I think that sounds like a good idea. Gonna grab these captures right here since they're nice and fast and on the way. A couple more animals right there. All right. And there you go. That's the end of that section. All right, so coming up is something that looks absolutely terrifying every single time. It is the most consistent thing in the world. You just kind of buffer and spin dash and then you're out of there, but it's like, oh my goodness. I have failed it for the record. I've just straight up zoned out and it's like forgot to buffer the spin dash. And it's like, okay, cool. So much for consistency. And now we have the fastest boss fight of all time, because if I actually don't charge my first homing attack all the way, then I can more quickly get like a second homing attack. And that will allow me to just kind of skip her attacking phase, and she's done. That's the fight. She does not get a chance to fight.
And that's Frozen Factory. We're about halfway through now.
Something like that, yeah. The next stage coming up is Silent Forest Zone 1. It is the loudest stage in the game, both visually and audibly. Nothing silent about this forest.
Not at all.
Not at all. And this is also the place that we're going to get a lot more of those animals. There are a lot of fast capsules in this particular one.
There's some really cool tech in this level and one really sick skip, so I can't wait.
All right. So first I'm going to take the different path right here to get all of these animals right here. And there we go. Before all of these extra capsules were routed in, we used to like do like a lot more grinding, like more rounds in Tropical Coast. But I don't know, I just kind of saw all of these capsules in this stage, and I was like, what if that was faster? Maybe it was faster. Oh, also, there's something that the game kind of forgot to explain to you, and I kind of forgot to explain to you as well until just now. Sonic has like a secondary homing attack called the kick. Those spiders, you have to kick them first, and then once that will knock them over, and then you can homing attack them. That's also how I was dying to that crab earlier. That's one of those enemies that you need to kick. Anyway, I like this tree. Do you guys like this tree? I think this tree looks pretty nice. I want to climb the tree. I was definitely one of those.
This part's really cool right here. I love this part.
Whoop. And I'm gonna launch myself right to the next section. I don't want to be fighting those spiders. And there we go. Very nice.
Yeah. So back there, Sid simply was just, he would start up the spin dash and just jump to cancel out of it and just rinse and repeat all the way up there. Easy enough.
It's kind of funny that we do have wall running mechanics, but they're not used to climb that tree. Instead, we have to do some complicated spin dash jumps.
Oh yeah, you're not supposed to be on that tree, but because you can buffer spin dashes on sloped surfaces like that, it does allow you to actually, you know, do that. That's why I had to do the spin dashes. All right. Cool, 1700 and doing very good on animals. I'm not worried about meeting the animal requirements.
So Silent Forest 2 is kind of where the silent part a little bit kicks in.
Yeah, this is the silent part for sure. And this is also where we beat our enemy for this zone. This guy's character trait is me in high school. I would just love to sit this guy down and just like put on a Linkin Park or My Chemical Romance album. That just sounds like a good time. He's just a little emo guy. I love him. Zora's the best.
He has a little animation where he like looks at a rose wistfully. He's really they pulled out all the stops. So that's a wisp that we're not going to use
yet.
Yes. So this is one of the few Lost World exclusive wisps. This is melody or rhythm, and it's okay. All it does is pretty much makes a bunch of musical notes you bounce off of. But yeah, a little bit later we'll have a cool thing that we can use with it.
All right, there we go.
All right, so this owl in the background, if you guys see him in the middle, there's a big owl robot. Starting pretty soon here, he'll start with an eye gaze, and if he sees Cyd, insta-kill. So Cyd's got to avoid him as soon as he starts, because here we go.
I have that effect on people. It's kind of nasty. Whoop, there we go.
Now there's one section where it's going to look like he might catch us, but we'll explain why he's not going to catch us.
All right, so there's a nice little trick I can do here, which is just rolling, and then he just kind of doesn't see me.
Skips up.
It just skips up.
So
Must have been the wind.
Must have been the wind.
Ideally, you're supposed to be hiding behind the bushes, but yeah, you don't have to ever if you play this game.
Yeah, basically the way that works is whenever you crouch, Sonic can crouch in this game. That is one of the cases where you're like silent enough that and like small enough that the guy can't see you. But the crouch button is on the same button as that slow roll that I did. So that those properties actually extend to the roll as well, which allows me to negate.
This is also one of the few the only boss that you don't actually have to charge up a homing attack to hurt. You can just spin dash into him.
Yep, I just kind of need to kick these bullets back to him.
I want to talk a little bit about this boss in the 3DS version.
Oh, go for it, because it's awful.
All right, so I mentioned that the 3DS version has unskippable gyro, right? So the way that this boss works in the 3DS version, you are in a big circular arena. There's a cannon in the middle. You get into the cannon, and then you have to spin around with the 3DS like this to find the real owl. There's a bunch of fakes.
Oh, that's awful.
And it's random every time, and you need to hit him twice out of the air. It is nothing short of a nightmare.
I have seen Brandino get tangled by his 3DS capture cords that many times.
Yeah, I've had to stop and spin around.
Yeah.
So this level is not silent, it is not a forest, and there's not even a tree to be found, really.
No. This is just... It's an ice cave. Every forest has an ice cave. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
So this level was meant to be, there were meant to be a lot more challenge acts in this game. So like acts where it's like, this is an act that you've seen before, but maybe there's a new twist. The twist here is that they've combined ice skating with the underground from Windy Hill 3. Sorry, it's 2 in the 3DS version. That's why I was confused. So
3DS break.
They ran out of development time, and so they didn't get to all the extra stages that they want to do. So some just kind of ended up being stages here.
Yep.
And that includes this one.
Yeah, we'll see more in the next zone of that. Pretty much all of it is the challenge zones that they had left over.
And I want to shout out Gordon Ramsay once again. He's the reason I know that. He's done a lot of data mining on the game, and just in general, I don't know if any human on this earth has looked as much at Sonic Lost World code than Gordon Ramsay.
Yep.
He was really cooking.
He was really cooking. Gordon Ramsay do be cooking, it's true.
He does. Gordon is a modern Sonic runner to his core. He runs Unleashed and Sonic 06. That's where I knew him from, Sonic 06.
Right.
Frontiers, he's done some work in Shadow Gens. Gordon's everywhere.
But does he use laser? Because we're about to use laser. There you go. Hit the diamond, it's going to send us along the path. There you go, that's laser.
They kind of butchered laser in this game by comparison to how powerful it is in colors, so that's why we kind of never really use it.
All right, so this run has been a little rough here and there thus far. I need a little bit of an ego boost. I would really like to hit this ballerina jump right here, straight onto the capsule.
I mean, you were on the capsule, just not the part that works.
Half points? Half points?
Half points.
Half points, okay.
So
thank you.
the big thing about all the capsule tops is they do not want you to jump on them for some reason.
no,
They'll do everything in their power just to pull you right off of it.
You cannot homing attack them. Hey, did you know you can homing attack them in the 3DS version?
Yeah, no, that looks delightful. Thank you.
You should try the 3DS version sometime. I hear it's good. Somebody told me.
I wonder who it was. Was it the voice inside your head?
It was this bloke named Brandino.
All right, sounds good. All right, so we have these little cycles right here of these guys smashing down. I want to make sure.
A Crash Bandicoot song.
There we go. I want to make sure that I can get in the cycle of this guy right here, so that I can take the secret path.
Yep, the gimmick for this zone is secret paths. So there's several around, some useful, some very much not at all.
Exactly.
Secret tunnel.
To the mountain. Secret tunnel.
Secret tunnel.
This is also where we're going to see a bunch more drill. There's going to be enemies in the center of it that the game wants me to destroy. Then it's going to raise these platforms right here. I'm not really going to be doing that for this first one because the first ones, they're positioned nicely that I could just kind of pop into the next one right there. I don't need them raised. And then for these two, I do actually need it to do it. And then that's the rest of the drill section is going to be pretty uneventful. So I think time for like 1 or 2 donations.
Sure thing. We had $5 from Happy by 3. We talking about the world's best music, ska? Can we pick it up with a $5 train sharing your favorite ska band or song? My favorite ska band is We Are the Union. And of course, an honorable mention to Streetlight.
Hey, I love Streetlight. Let's go. I just saw them live.
Yeah, let's get that train going. And we'll say at 55 minutes on the mark, get those donations in now. $5 to get a ticket, and we'll get you in.
So, this little platforming section right here is very like to 2010s when everybody was doing, I think DKC Country Returns started first, but like the Shadow level. Not Shadow the Hedgehog, obviously, but Shadow.
That's next round. But yeah, I love this aesthetic. It looks very good.
Yeah, so the gimmick is you're supposed to turn on the lights every now and then so you'll be able to see. We know the levels, so we don't really care.
Yeah, I don't really need to see. I'm just kind of gonna infinite wall run my way up here to skip that entire puzzle.
You're not doing grabber glitch, correct?
No, we already passed it. I'm gonna start doing grabber glitch the moment it stops being a dumb skip.
So there's a skip in this level that Sid opted not to do. It doesn't save a ton of time, but it's cool because you know those spider robots that drop from the ceiling, they pick Sonic up, they grab him, imagine. So the grabbers, there's a way where when one grabs you, you bounce out of it kind of at a very specific moment and you drop through the stage down lower into a lower part of the stage. I don't know how much time it saves, but it's not
7
huge.
seconds.
Okay, yes, it's not
you need to get it first or second try, and otherwise you're not satisfied with it.
It's a kind of a stupid trick for the amount of time it saves, so it's really not worth it.
Yeah, no.
And that's Silent Forest.
All right, another zone down. Only 2 more zones to go. And yeah, this next one is a little bit slapped together. As Bernino was saying earlier, it's just kind of like stages from or Bernino and Gedrith were saying earlier, just kind of stages from other aesthetics that are just kind of being put into the Sky Road area. This was supposed to be Windy Hill, which is why it looks very Windy Hill.
It's Windy Hill in the sky, but Windy Hill was already in the sky, so it's just Windy Hill?
This is also one of the big run ending tricks right here, because I get like 1 shot in order to...
All right, let's focus.
Try and skip that little planet right here. Just gonna try and get into the gravitational pull of the next one.
And
nice. What do we call that, Brandino?
That is called bloke skip.
Yeah. So the way Brandino works is like he's like an Animal Crossing villager. The moment he shows up to your community, your entire community is suddenly saying bloke. That's just how it works.
Yeah, bloke started as a silly nonsense word that I started saying for some reason, and it's kind of ballooned into my catchphrase a little bit. I don't know if that or 3DS is my catchphrase, one of them. But,
something like that.
I bugged Sid so much by saying, when's bloke skip, that he just named it bloke skip. Because we do actually skip a bloke there.
Oh yeah, no, like on that planet that we skip, there's like a bunch of caterpillars that are very slow to fight, and that's we skip the blokes, so it's a bloke skip. There we go.
And we just picked up the Crimson Eagle Wisp. This is the only time we're really going to use them.
Yeah, yep. This is the other exclusive list to Lost Worlds.
Yep. And I would actually, you know, since I just technically used wings, I would like to take this time to finally explain what the category is all about. So this game has a helper mechanic. Every time you die 5 times or you hit 0 remaining lives, it will spawn a wing item, that's just like right next to the checkpoint. Once you pick that item up, it will teleport you right to the next checkpoint, allowing you to skip like a lot of the game. Since it triggers on hitting 0 lives, it is extremely abusable. It kind of just ends up overtaking the entire run. Which is why 80% wingless has just kind of become the main category for this run, where you actually get to see all of the stages, all of the skips, all of that stuff. And it doesn't just become, oh, hey, go find a 1-up, then die to skip to the next checkpoint, find a 1-up, etc., etc. So it's a lot more pleasant of a run. Also a lot more hard, since we have to do a lot of the hard skips that would otherwise be, you know, phased out with the wing.
Just want to mention, too, that Gordon and several other runners refer to that turtle we just fought as Yuji Naka.
Yeah, why is that?
I don't know. Maybe the turtle was insider trading.
Wow.
Wow. Okay, cool. That's, yep, no, let's go.
So, one thing
Moving on.
Moving on. One thing to bring up, we've seen 2 of them now. So those long stretches that Cyd did twice in that area are called mock speed zones.
Yeah.
So normally spin dashing is faster than doing those mock speed zones, but they have a unique mechanic that if you see the lines of those enemies, you just kind of go through all of them with one homing attack, which we need the animals for, so it's just better to do it than spin dash through.
Exactly. All right, now this is honestly kind of a fan favorite. There's just a lot of really cool platform in this, and then we can kind of launch off of that. Didn't get like the full launch, so that's all right. All right. It took me forever to actually memorize the correct spots of all of these platforms and which one I was supposed to take and which one I wasn't supposed to take. But when it goes well, it looks very smooth. Just kind of like infinite spin dash your way across these platforms. So there you go. And
The song that's playing right now is called Dragon Dance.
oh yeah, we are dancing with dragons, that's for sure. Narrowly avoid that laser right there. And there we go. Everything planned. Totally fine. And here we have Zavok. He's angry. That's his thing. He's angry. And
He's the de facto leader of the group of people we've been fighting this whole game.
you know him well.
He's finally back.
So
And he has a tail. He does. I'm kind of just ignoring the entire mechanic of this fight where you just kind of homing attack across his entire dragon robot, because Sonic has a nice bounce in this game, and you can do it up to 3 times, and every bounce goes a little bit higher. The 3rd bounce is high enough to just go up to his platform and hit him in the face.
Yeah, as a 3DS runner, it makes me mad how easy this boss is, because the 3DS version of this boss is once again very frustrating.
All right. There we go. That stage was supposed to be in Silent Forest, and then the next stage is the only actual original Sky Road stage. It is also completely an auto-scroller. Basically, I do this, and I can press the jump button to go low, and the screen scrolls, and that's about it. Klinkit, please take it away. There's nothing to say.
Absolutely, and our Skonic train has been going, though it seems like it's been dubbed as half Skonic and half bloke. We had $5 from Hammerbarn, favorite ska song, She Hates Ska by iVot, voted for Kodos. $5 from Folksito, had to donate for the Ska Hype Train. Big shout out to the Digimon movie soundtrack for introducing me to the genre via Less Than Jake and the Mighty Boss Tones. And $50, 10 tickets from Filaments. I'll get on that ska train. Let me buy a couple tickets for the absurd loveliness of the Aquabats. Let's go Aquabats. Any Aquabat lovers in chat here? Maybe just me. And we had $5 from Ras, buying a ticket for the ska train. Shout out to the Toasters. A ticket for Pablo from Finland, joining the ska train. My vote goes to the Scatolites. And $5 from Chief Beef 100. Joystick is one of my favorite ska bands and very topical for AGDQ. 5 from Anonymous Bloke Train. 5 from Bloke. You wouldn't skip me, surely.
Just did, sorry.
Oh no.
And $25 from Birdsfly, getting $5 or 5 tickets on that train. I was listening to Streetlight and Goldfinger on my way home to catch the Skonic run. Must move at an accelerated rate. And finally, $25 from Joe Frangles, $5 ticket for 5 Iron Frenzy, my favorite ska band, equals $25, right? Yeah, and you can bring some friends along. Thank you so much for those donations. Keep them coming in. We got time for more?
Oh, you bet.
Oh, wow. All right. We had $5 from Hib. Okay. We all know about DK64 Randomizer, but did you know about Sonic Lost Worlds DS? If only there was someone immensely knowledgeable in such an art.
Don't enable him, please.
Being for real, best of luck, Sid. Show the folks the wacky side of Sonic speedruns. And $50 from Pico de Guapo. Glad I could be here for a Sonic Block and donate. Been watching Sid's run for a while now, so good luck, Sid, and save those animals.
We are saving the animals. We're right on track for having the right amount of animals.
We're also finally free.
We're finally free. We're finally free from the auto-scroller. All right, so this is going to be Desert Ruins 5. Sorry, Skyroad 4. This is going to be quite a trek. Yeah, they had a lot of assets.
Gotta reuse them.
All right. This is in probably the most awkward 2D platforming in the run.
You'll
It
notice
just has very awkward 2D sections, but yeah, I'm just kind of gonna ignore the rest of this right here with some infinite wall running. There we go.
You'll notice that these ghosts fly around all over the top of the screen to hit Sonic. Those are meant to be the same kind of ghosts that you're seeing in like SA2. That are like wandering around Death Chamber and stuff. So I think that's a nice reference. I think that's the first time they showed up in a while.
So we're going to take that wisp and hold it for a very specific trick coming on after, I believe, next area.
Yeah, believe it or not, Rhythm Wisp is actually useful. Normally, what it kind of just does is, it makes you invisible for the stealth section in Silent Forest, where you just kind of like, once you're in rhythm mode, he can't see you. But other than that, it just kind of goes along to fixed paths and give you a ring every time you press the button. It was supposed to work with the touchscreen on the Wii U gamepads, but yeah, you can't really do that on the PC version. You just kind of mash a button to progress along the path. That's basically it. But what the nice thing about this stage is the 2D sections, they just kind of like loop around each other. You go off on the right, and then there you go, you're onto the other side. And then using the Rhythm Wisp, you could just kind of break out like that.
And get some good music for a little bit.
Yeah, we're just gonna hang out of bounds right here, and then break out, break back in right about now, and skip the entire section. Very cool.
This part really reminds me of Mario Galaxy 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, except unlike Mario Galaxy 2, they at least put the collectibles behind you so that you can see them coming. I recently played Galaxy 2, and I'm still salty about the red stars in the sand slide. Or the green stars, rather. Sorry, red rings, green stars. But yeah, basically we're just going to, you know, have Sonic get very sandy buns right here, I guess.
Yes. Yeah, we're going to be sliding for a little bit here and just kind of rotating to avoid all the cactuses coming at us. They have a very pained expression on their faces, too. It never fails to make me laugh when I see them.
Time for the my least favorite 2D section in the run, right here. Just gonna get a damage boost through those guys. It's just very awkward navigating across these sand blocks. Sonic likes to grab onto them when you don't want him to, slowing you down, and then they're placed in such a location that it's just awkward. All right, there we go. That was the hard part. Now we're gonna go right here. And upcoming after this section is the boss fight, and it's probably the most complex boss fight in the entire run. In that it doesn't actually explain it to you, so every time I watch a casual playthrough, I'm just noticing people
Running
get
theme in
walled
this
by
game
here.
is that they don't explain things to you.
That's kind of a running theme, unfortunately. It's a very good game, but it's very bad at teaching you how to play it. So I kind of jumped to his right side because he's going to do a punch, and I want him to be on the right side of the screen. I'm going to kick to break his guard, charge up a full homing attack, send him that way, and then he's going to run to the right side of the screen to go to the next phase, which is why I wanted it on that side. Then we're going to go do that again. Once again, kick to break his guard. Send him into the laser beams. I don't want to send him into another one, so I wait a little bit until that one despawns, and then that should be enough to send him into the next phase. And once again, I'm going to want to be on his right side because I need to get him to one of the edges of the arena. Alright. And I... okay, cool. We're just gonna go to that side instead. That's alright. Break his guard. Send him flying there. Now he's on the edge. Fully charged homing attack. And that's how you beat him.
Yeah, the game does not tell you you need to kick him, so good luck figuring that out.
And that you can now charge your homing attack up to 8 times, where previously it was max 3. So, you know.
That's kind of the thing about this game, is that I don't think a lot of people know about how cool the movement is and how crazy it can get, partially because the game does a poor job of it actually explaining itself to you. Like, I didn't know about the infinite spin dash until I found out about the speed run, like 7 or 8 years after I'd already played the game. And I just want to talk a little bit about Lost World history for a second.
Oh yeah, you can. We're just fighting bosses again, and they're pushovers again.
So this game had a very disparate amount of runners, like kind of scattered, not really a community. And it was like that until 2021, when SA2 runner Emerald decided to play the game casually. And that caused our old friend Gordon Ramsay to see it. And he's like, yo, this game's kind of cool, actually. And the rest is kind of history. We made the Lost World Discord, and I joined because I was really interested. And then we were kind of cracking jokes like, oh, somebody should play the 3DS version to give the 3DS mod something to do. And I took that to heart. And here we are 3 years later.
You took that seriously.
I took...
Personally, even.
That's how they always get you with a joke first.
Oh, yeah.
No time for jokes. It's Sonic Lost World.
I mean, this is a very unserious game, let's be honest here.
Yes. But it's a game that I think a lot of Sonic fans haven't given enough of a chance to really see what it can do, and I hope some people had like dropped their preconceived notions today and got to really see something cool with this game.
All right. I'm not gonna lie, I'm sweating for the next stage. This is already hard on my own controller, let alone on a controller that I've been gradually getting used to over the course of the run, because I'm going to need to be holding a very specific angle during one of these 3D and 2D tricks. And that angle needs to be like very specifically to the front of where Sonic is going, but the camera angle is going to be diagonally behind me. Great start, great start. I need to do that little jump there in order to actually be able to start a 3D and 2D glitch, but that's all right.
Yeah, so this is the harder version, if you guys remember, of Tropical Coast Zone 2.
There we go. All right, so break out 3D and 2D. There we go.
Let's let him focus.
This one is not too bad. This one I could just kind of do neutral jumps without holding onto the controller. I do have to like weave in and out though, so that is pretty difficult. Weave in, weave back in, there you go. Go around the obstacles. Do some jumps right here. And then jump over all of that. Get back in with the 2D section by homing attack on that guy. And there you go. That's the first 3D and 2D done.
That's really hard.
Yeah.
It's really nice that there's so many homing attack things in there, because it really is, like, can't be worried how helpful it is to be able to get back on track with those.
Oh, absolutely. The hard one is the one in the final 2D section, though. That's that's one of the biggest run breakers.
It's hard even if you do it normally.
Oh, absolutely. During the races I did with Gedrith, that is like one of the biggest, the biggest deciders, like who gets this stage
We were
quickly
both
enough.
stuck on it and game over multiple times.
Oh yeah, even
and
casual.
it caused our
so
friend Oro, who's here at the event, but I think just watching, he actually just stopped doing the race at that one because it's so frustrating.
Yeah, no, totally fair. Did not join us for the future ones. This is definitely a very
Once again,
difficult stage.
many insta-kill items here.
All right, so there we go. At the start of this, going to jump right out of that 3D section. There we go. Jump back onto the rail. Gonna weave back in and out to avoid these things. And
So yeah,
then
this one's the more terrifying one because there's bombs everywhere. And if you don't remember from earlier, the bomb carts instantly kill you if you touch them.
all right, hopefully I have the right angle on my control stick to make it here. You can just barely beat that cycle. No. I was a little bit off. Like, if you're a little bit off, that's where it happens. So, sorry for hitting the mic, by the way.
luckily, checkpoints maintain your state, so we're technically still 3D and 2D when you reload.
Yeah, that also means that I'm locked in. I have to do this now, and if I die too many times for the sake of the estimate, I am going to take the wing that just teleports me to the next checkpoint, for the record.
Yeah. Again, this is... I really can't overstate how difficult this is. Especially on a controller that is not yours.
Yeah. Yes.
Let's
Yes.
go! That's
Ooh.
my goat!
Third try, let's go. Whew. All right. That was the big one.
So now we're dealing with doors that are shutting, and they're the same as the fans were in the last tunnel. If we even touch it, even if it's just Sonic's foot, die instantly.
Alrighty. Yeah, there really only one big like door to worry about right here. I could slow down using these red rails. I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna jump through the gap.
Slowing down for losers.
Slowly. We're here to go fast.
That, if I had to guess, I would say that Cyd was worried about that level for quite some time.
Yeah, I was actually feeling really confident on it on my own controller. I've been really consistent with it recently, and then my controller just kind of stopped working right before the run. That we're here, but we made it. I did it, and we're good. Let's finish it off with the gauntlet that is Lava Mountain 3, one of the longest stages in the run, just a lot of sections. Going to launch myself off of those ramps, very good, very smooth. And then this is where the refights against all the other Zeddy that we haven't refought yet in Lava Mountain 1 are going to be.
On the 3DS version, there is no Lava Mountain. It's just boss rebattles 4 times in a row. There's no like actual stages.
So this takes a very similar approach to all the 4 levels from the past. So it's always going to be a 3D section, a 2D section, then the 2D section will end in the boss refight.
I forgot the flowers, guys, again.
Oh no.
Oh well. All right, there we go. And hit her with 3 ones. Oh, okay. Didn't fully register all of the damage on the first hits. She does that sometimes. And there we go. That's the first boss fight. And yeah, we're just gonna go through another 3D section. I want to keep this hover wisp with me for the next 2D section. This is the only stage in the game that has hover in it. And since it's a very vertical stage, having like a wisp that can hover upwards is honestly quite useful to speed up the sections. Unfortunately, the controls on it are incredibly hard. Like, they're rough. Like, sure, hover is supposed to be floaty, but this is like floaty and stiff at the same time somehow. It's I don't know how to describe it, but we're gonna make it work. I'm pretty used to the controls at this point, and just need to make sure that I don't get caught on any of these platforms because I do have a pretty limited amount of meter. That was the wrong direction, buddy. There we go. Do a little dash to get right here. And now we have my buddy Zor. Yeah. Anyway, this is the easiest boss fight of all of them. He just kind of like goes onto these platforms, does a little dance, very menacing. You just kind of go up here and grab onto this, and that's it. That's the fight. All right.
Still got one more fight in this level.
Yeah, exactly. And some wall runs. These wall runs can be a little bit tricky as well. Oh, there we go. You can also do the infinite wall run to go back onto the same wall in 3D, but it is a little more difficult. So you have to be very particular with your angles. And since it gives me 2 walls anyway, I just use the walls. It's really no big deal. Once again, wanted to save this hover wisp into this section because it is very slow to climb normally. So instead, I'm just going to make good use of the hover wisp to ignore the second half of it. And this is the last 2D section. We're gonna have like one more boss fight after this, and then it is this stage done. Face tank some lava right there, doesn't matter. You can die anyway while you're in hover state. And yeah, just ignore all of this. and take the checkpoint. I promised I would take the checkpoint even if it's slow to pick up, because otherwise it would be all the way back down and I'd have to do that climb without the hover. All right, here's Zavok. Which side? Left side, guessed correctly, very good. One fully charged homing attack sends him into his next phase, and then Zavok is going to do his best Bowser impression. Grow very big, very angry. Very big, very angry.
I don't know why he didn't just do this at the beginning.
Yeah, honestly, truly. It's like, I don't know. I'm going to need to bounce these blocks back down to him to damage him. Fortunately, since I cleared the first phase so quickly, I have all of them to my availability. Normally, he knocks a few down, so you have to like climb upwards and all that kind of stuff. But no, I got him. I have exactly enough to defeat him right there. GG.
GG, we got one level left.
Yep, and that one level, it's a boss fight. Who's the true villain here? It's Eggman. It's always Eggman.
Suddenly Eggman.
It's a Sonic game. It's always Eggman.
I want to shout out the song that plays during this boss fight because it is awesome.
It is an absolute banger. But,
one of the best boss fight songs they've ever written.
But it also plagiarizes the Sonic Colors boss so hard that it's at risk of ending up in the yearly H-Bomber Guy video. So, you know.
What a reference.
What a reference.
All right, this is probably a great time to give some shout-outs.
Absolutely. So there's, aside from the people that Brandino's already mentioned that like were like the Renaissance in 2021 with making the Discord, I really want to thank Darkspine Sonic and Deluxe. They were like the OG runners that formed a lot of this run. Most of the stuff that you've seen was found by Darkspine Sonic. A lot of the movement was like made by Deluxe. Deluxe is like the best movement guy for this game right here. And aside from them, I really want to give a big thank you to the Korean runner Sunman. While nobody else was running this game, Sunman, he kept this game alive, just very gradually kept working at it, and eventually got the world record. And learned everything himself, despite the language barrier and there being very few resources. So big shout outs to him. And yeah, we're actually kind of coming up on the end of this fight. Gonna have to avoid these stomps right here. There we go. Gonna have to do one more homing attack onto Eggman's face. And then once we clear the score screen is when time is, so get ready on time. But we do have to manually clear the score screen for it, so we're coming right up, and time. That's Sonic Lost World.
Good job, bud.
On the estimates, yes! That was my biggest worry once I had to deal with this control.
I knew he could do it.
I could do it. No, I'm very happy with how that went and how I recovered despite a very stressful setup. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you as well. Yeah, I'm CriticalCyd basically on any platform I'm on. I mainly just do Sonic speedrunning and post pictures of my cats. Same goes for these guys. They're both cat dads as well. Anything else you guys want to say before we throw it off?
You want go ahead and start.
Thanks for having me. That's really it.
All right.
Shout out to my family for watching at home, and also for my brother for being here. And shout out to the Sonic community.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Much appreciated.